How's it going, Critter Family? Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over our part 2 of our video about Dale McKlusky. This is the second video that somebody recommended me to watch. You see this is in the same room as the other dog, so in his garage area. We got some little bite sleeves here, maybe a muzzle right there. But anyway, this is Central Florida Dog Training, Cooper, Phase 1, the down. So we've got a choke chain, very tight choke chain, leather leash, tight balled up leash, and then we got all of his book, of course, that he's so proud of. I mean, hey, I can't say that I'm not proud of the book that I've written. If you are interested, there's a copy of them on this here on Etsy. The Survival Guide Dog Training Series 1, The Basics, nice and green, written by yours truly. Anyway, those are available on my... I'll leave a link in the description of where you can get that book if you're interested in it. Anyway, we're talking about Dale McKlusky and his, in my opinion, horrible treatment of this animal. So let's just get right into it. This video is being used under Fair Use Act for education and criticism purposes. There's nothing personal, nothing discouraging or disparaging meant to be said or sent towards anybody in this video. Don't be sending any mean comments. This is nothing personal. This is just me transforming some other video and trying to critique it and give my educated opinion about it.
Hi, welcome. On this video, I'm here once again with Cooper for service dog training.
Service dog training,
here,
lovely.
For phase 1. And in this video, I'm going to be adding on to the basic method by way of the down. Now here again, you'll be walking around in a circle, you'll be interacting with Cooper.
God, this dog looks so shut down already. And this leash is tight. This chain is tight. This is putting pressure on this dog that he still has not released. This dog is basically in a constant correction because it is tight on his neck. I don't have my little, oh I do. Constantly tight on his neck, constantly being corrected, as you can see around my neck. This is constantly what is happening for the dog. Only his is chain, and mine is just a little rope, but it's no different than what this dog is going through. This dog looks so shut down, looks so sad. And people say, oh, don't put emotions on animals. Animals are emotional creatures, okay? Dogs are sentient beings. They have emotions. They have a state of mind. They have pleasures and things they would rather be doing rather than sitting here like this, being choked out by this guy who has to use a choke chain and force the dog just to get them to lay down.
In terms of current state of the relationship, in terms of creating or generating a very high level of focus when it comes to service dog training. And then at a certain point, once again, a high level of focus has been established, beginning to connect dogs by way of task-specific training, getting dogs to, say, pick up objects, getting dogs to provide support.
So he's talking about all the services that a service animal would provide. All right, we get that. I think he does a lot of talking here in the beginning, which is not going to make any sense. So we're going to fast forward until he starts working with the dog, moving the dog. Again, tight chain, choking the dog, shoves their butt down, tail tuck, drags the puppy away, shoves him into the sit. Push pull is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. You don't push and pull at the same time. Why on earth would you ever teach an animal to lie down like that? That is so confusing. Sorry, Ellie's crying in the background. All right, let me let her out. What are you doing? She's just running in and out of the door, being crazy. So anyway, you don't push and pull at the same time. Those are conflicting messages that you're sending to the dog. You're pulling up on them and you're pushing down on them at the same time. Why on earth? I mean, unless he's trying to do opposition reflex where you pull them and then they want to push, they pull against a pull. Just, if you're going to do this, which I don't recommend you do, if you do this the way that if you're going to do this the way that compulsion trainers train, then you would just take your leash and you would pull down on the dog. If this is the dog, like this is the ear, this is the nose, then you would pull down on their collar until they go down. They would bend down like this, and then eventually they would lay down, and then you would release your tension. So you pull down, they go down, then you release that tension. That's if you're using pressure and release, using a choke chain, using a slip lead, using a collar, using pressure. Okay, don't do that though. I don't recommend you do that. I would much rather have the dog, if the dog is, I'm going to use my little Shiba here. Birthday gift from my sister many years ago. So we're going to get our dog into a sit, okay? When we have our dog into a sit, I'm going to take a treat. I'm going to put it right in between their front paws, okay, right here. And they're going to bend down to sniff that treat while they're in the sit position. And then I'm going to slowly move it towards their body. Okay, I'm moving in towards their body. And as they're bending down to sniff that treat, their back end is going to slide out and they're going to go into the down position. Sorry, it's kind of difficult to show with this little guy here. But we start with them in the sit, take our treat, put it in between their paws. They bend down to go sniff. And as they do that, as they bend down like this, their back end is going to slide out from under them and they go into the down position. And then they look like this. Then they're in the down position. So that's how I would do it if I were teaching down. I have videos that I'll link up here in the cards as well about how I taught my Shiba down and how you can proof it in many different ways. Let's look at how he is going to teach this dog down by the push-pull method, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. You never put pressure on a dog's shoulders. That is opposition reflex. And also it's really hard on the skeleton, and hard on the body, and hard on the shoulders, on the elbows, on the wrists. You don't put pressure on an animal, just like you don't push down on the spine to get them to sit. This is old school. This is uneducated. This is outdated. This is, he's a compulsion trainer, so he shouldn't be, I wouldn't listen to anything he says. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him as a compulsion trainer.
So just steady pushing. I'm not pushing really, really hard.
Not pushing really, really hard, but just pushing hard enough to get the dog to want to go down or fight.
Body weight. Again, right here, he knows the intent. Okay, he knows where I want him to go.
Does he really know? And if he does, then he's trying to fight it so much. This is so bad for the dog. Oh my gosh, you're literally just shoving the dog into position. And then he lifts up on the collar and chokes the dog. God, this dog is shut down.
There's a point of stopping, okay, depending on
this dog is so shut down. This is horrible.
Stress off of Cooper. Definitely
this guy is an absolute idiot. I don't care what you say. He is just an absolutely... He's unhinged. He's not a good dog trainer. He has to force the dog into a position. He doesn't know how to lure the dog by any means.
Doesn't like it. Okay, we're not trying to, go into high challenge or anything like that. But again, this is meant to take stress
Of course
off.
the dog doesn't like it because you're literally forcing them. They don't know what you want from them when you're forcing them. Does the dog really know what you want when you're just shoving them down to the ground?
So from this point, I bring him back up into the sit.
Okay, now he has to drag him up to the sit, choke him up to the sit.
Definitely at a certain level. Now when that happens too.
He has to choke him up into the sit. He can't even ask him for a sit, and this is going to be a service animal. He can't even lure him or ask him sit, and the dog knows how to sit. I do this all the time. I do this every day. I teach classes of puppies and older dogs how to sit and down and stay and recall and walk through doorways, politely, and how to walk on leash politely and all this and that. And I don't ever have to touch any of the dogs. I don't have to take their leashes.
Again, in terms of moving him forward,
Dragging him forward. The dog doesn't know what you want. Oh my God, he's choking him just to get him up. This dog, and then he's going to shove him back down again. That's why the dog didn't move. This is learned helplessness if I've ever seen it. This is absolutely learned helplessness. Lip lick.
this is where again, if you have
Choke,
a
choke,
high
choke.
level of
Still choking. Still tension. Still pressure.
you want to kind of slow it down because again, there's a working through. there is a
God, this guy
conversation that
sucks as
way.
a
It's
dog
not about
trainer.
just,
Seriously.
rushing forward and just focusing on asserting influence that way. There is a
Pop, pop.
conversation because in terms of
Every time he
relationship,
moves that, he's
people
correcting the
definitely
dog. Whether
still
the dog
looking
sees
for.
it as a punishment or not, he is still correcting the dog. So he's teaching the dog to ignore that tension, that tug, tug, tug. He's teaching the dog to ignore it, or he is correcting the dog, and the dog is getting punished by that. And the dog says, okay, what am I doing that I'm getting punished for? Let me stop trying to do anything. And that's learned helplessness.
Because there has to be that kind of recognition that this is a process. So here, you really
Yes,
lock it
teaching down is a process, but not this kind of process.
down pretty hard because again, this is something new. Okay, this is an add-on. The down is really kind of challenging the current state of the
God, the way
relationship.
he's so rough with his handling, just yanking the dog's head up while he's trying to fix the collar.
So he definitely is going to resist it at a higher level. Now again, when I move forward, I watch as I move forward. I gave him a little extra time there.
Tug, tug,
So
tug,
I
tug,
come
tug,
forward here a little
tug,
bit. He's still
tug,
going
tug,
into kind of
drag.
lockdown mode
Lip
here.
lick, lip lick.
So
The
I'm going
dog
to
can
push
barely
full.
breathe, and now he's going to shove
This
him down. I
time,
don't know why he's pulling up on him if he's going to be pushing him down. It doesn't make any sense at all. And in the horse world, in the movie Black Beauty, he says nonsense makes a horse mad. Nonsense will drive a horse mad. I imagine that it would do the same thing for a dog, but dogs are so much more forgiving. I mean, horses are very forgiving as well. That's why we've been able to domesticate them and treat them horribly as we do, and also treat them wonderfully as we do. There's much more, a lot more people out there, I would hope, that would treat their animals better than the negative ones. But all we ever happen to see is the popular stuff is how to mistreat your animal in the name of
I'm not going to
training.
add the down on. So right here, I'm just going to hang out here
This
for
dog is
a little
absolutely
bit
shut
longer.
down. He's popping, popping,
Now here,
popping,
I'm not putting a lot of
pop, pop.
influence on him at this point. We're just kind of maintaining this type of position here for a moment. But you'll
Constant
see he
pressure,
looks, again, you'll see that type of
constant
reaction,
choking. This
again, based
dog
on
is
the current
so
state of
shut
the
down. I
relationship.
know I
He's
keep
having
saying
a
it, but I
focus
can't
already,
help it.
a little bit, in the relationship. So he's having a
There is no
definite
relationship with
reaction
this
to
guy.
this.
This is,
So because of that, again, getting him to
again,
come to
pop,
agreement, it's just about me kind of
pop, choke, choke,
maintaining kind
pop.
of a holding pattern a little bit here. But I will move forward here in a
A lot
moment.
of times people, dumb people will say, or dumb trainers, I should say, will say that, by doing this, we're reminding the dog the collar's on. The dog knows the collar's on, you big dummy. They don't need you to tell him.
Because
They
again,
can
he's
feel that
already locked
constant
it down here
tension.
somewhat. And so again, just maintain, but again, I'm
Pop,
maintaining a
pop,
level of
pop,
control. Here's
pop,
the thing,
tug,
when I'm
tug,
maintaining a holding
tug,
pattern,
tug.
I'm still have him under control. Okay, so he still knows that, I'm
Pop.
maintaining a consistent level of control. But you see that type of downwardness going on here, which is normal.
Normal for a dog in his training session to shut down like this. He says this is normal. I've never had a dog look like this when I'm working with him, ever. In my almost 11 years of training dogs professionally and my 12 years of owning my Shiba, I've never had a dog look like this when I'm working with them if they weren't already shut down, meaning they were in a shelter environment. They were a stray, they were a feral dog, and they were just scared in a house. And I was just trying to get them to come out of the yard into the house. That's a scenario where I've seen a dog that looked kind of like that, but it wasn't because of my working with them that caused them to look like that. They already looked like that. Or if I went into a shelter, then the dog already looked like that, and my goal was to work them up from that point. I've never made a dog look like this ever in my history of working with animals. And he says this is normal. So this is a common occurrence for him when he's working with dogs. Absolutely horrendous.
See, coming forward a little better that time, right? Because I gave it the extra time. Doing that
Shove.
push
Because the
pull.
dog is learning. The dog, through all this, is still learning that through your horrible communication skills with this animal, they are still smarter than you, that they can learn what you are not really telling them.
Still not going to do another down, but I'm still nudging him, still tapping
Choke,
him,
choke,
getting his
choke, choke,
getting
pop,
straight
pop,
down where that's
pop,
okay.
pop, pop,
So
pop,
this is a
pop,
really good
pop.
example of how to deal with.
Every time he moves this leash, he's teaching the dog to ignore that, where that could be a signal to the dog, hey, we're getting ready to move. The slightest little bit The slightest little movement on this could trigger the dog, could let the dog know if this is on a dog, you know, that this or this means we're moving. This means we're moving. But he already has it tight, and then he's just doing this all day long. He's just doing that and just moving it on the dog, and the dog is learning to ignore that. Where I would have a dog learn that that's a signal on a harness. And there's times when I've had loud hands when I'm doing a video and I'm focusing on the video. If you look up, goodness gracious, Allie just ran through the door being crazy and psycho. Um, there's a video where I'm answering a question for a foster about resource guarding and about reactivity. There's a video part in that video where I'm working with Adonis and I'm talking and my hands are sliding around and I'm switching the leash around my back and forth from hand to hand. And I explain in that video that I have loud hands. If I'm taking the leash and if I'm, you know, switching the leash from hand to hand and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm talking like this and I'm talking with my hands, these are loud hands versus just having the leash in your hand like this and just talking, you know, with your hands to, you know, it crossed in front of you. Those are softer hands, softer, quieter hands. Here he has pretty, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot. He has somewhat quiet hands, but also loud enough hands that he's constantly pressing on that leash with his fingers, constantly popping that leash. So that's what makes it more loud hands, that he's making the dog learn that, you know, to ignore whatever could be seen as a cue to the dog.
A reaction of the dog.
Pop, pop, pop. Okay? Pop, pop. And when you have that much leverage on a dog, it doesn't take much to remind them that, you know, if you're reminding them that the collar is on or to correct them or to, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot.
Slow it down, hang out a little bit longer.
Pop, 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 pop.
You want to keep the level of conflict down.
Or tug, tug, tug if you'd prefer.
That have a lot of control.
This dog is absolutely shut down.
Some dogs are really at an aggressive level, and you don't even want to add the down on it first, okay? Because again, it's gonna
pop, 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 or tug, tug, tug.
Just hang out a lot longer. Just really slow it down. So here, move forward here again. The nose here, Cooper, is starting to become a little bit more.
No reward whatsoever, just force.
Now I'm gonna add another down on it.
Now he's gonna shove the dog down on the shoulders, on the wrists, on concrete.
I'm pushing, but not hard. I'm just kind of leaning on my body weight.
You're leaning your giant body weight against this dog. And I don't mean that as in a weight thing. I mean that as in, look at the size of this human and the size of this dog. I would not lean my body weight against a Great Dane, and they could probably handle it better. But I certainly would not, push my body weight against a little dog like this. This looks like a young dog. I'm going to say it's a puppy. Otherwise, then it's a small dog. But this is not.
I like the concept of the tug of war team that collapses. You see the first guy start to wobble.
So he talks about this is comparable to a game of tug of war, where the first guy, whoever collapses first, you start to see that little wobble. This is not tug of war. You should not be playing tug of war like this with your dog. You should not be getting into a battle or into a fight with your dog like this. This is not how you teach down. It's not going to be a down reliably. The dog is going to rely on that. The dog can become, hand shy. The dog can become shy to pressure. And this is how he's training this dog to become a service animal.
Okay, so I'm kind of bringing his mind into a state of wobbling here. And then
shoving, shoving, shoving. Ouch. Still pulling up on the leash. Still popping on the leash. Pop, pop, pop. Tug, 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 tug. Tug, 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 tug. Tug, 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 tug. Tug, tug, tug. The dog, this is learned helplessness. This is abuse. This is not how you teach a dog down. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Just a moment here, but it's better sometimes to bring off a little sooner. He goes into that type of lockdown mode. So here, I'm going to bring him up.
So now he has to choke him up. He's literally putting all of this dog's weight is being choked on this choke chain. Sorry, my camera just reset. All this dog's weight is being choked on this choke chain. And he has to drag him up. He can't even ask him for a sit because this dog would not respond to a sit.
Lock it down. But he's moving his legs here and then hang over here again. Same thing. Slow it down.
Yeah, literally hang him there for a while. Not hang out. You're hanging him there.
I want to take some pressure off the collar. Bring up high.
Barely any pressure off the
But
collar.
I have it tight enough just to maintain enough control to keep him up.
So you have to keep him up. Now you've taught this dog learned helplessness. Then now you're literally hanging him there just to keep him sitting up, keep him from laying down, because you taught him to lay down, and that's more of a. I mean, this dog is so shut down. That's more of a comfortable position for this dog to lay in than to sit up. And so now you literally have to hold him up, choking him on this collar.
Not so much that, you know, I'm creating more of a lockdown situation. So, but again, I'm hanging out here again. Because when he's in the sit position, he's got to deal with this a little bit more.
Deal with what? Sitting in the sit position?
Move forward with him again.
Drag him forward.
See the lockdown here? See him going to a lockdown again a little bit?
I've never had a dog do that before.
Back in to the push-pull, and then we're going to hang out. And we're going to stop it here in just a moment.
This dog has not given him any eye contact whatsoever. This dog is terrified of him.
Bring him forward. Bring Cooper forward. He's saying, what the heck?
Slides him around, shoves him there.
Bring it up and just maintain. So we're here. See that downwardness? That's what's going on.
Look at this
So I'm
poor
saying it's all
dog.
about-
I mean, a 3-year-old can tell you this dog is not happy. And this idiot here is probably going to tell us something different. He's going to explain away why this dog looks the way they do, that it's just normal. It's just part of the process. That's it. Then he's going to talk to the camera some more. So that's it. That's the end of the video. As far as I'm going to be covering. This poor dog. This is learned helplessness. So let me know what you got from this video. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Go say howdy do to your little critters. Say howdy do for me. I promise I won't bite. Give them some kind of loving that they appreciate. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.